All right, well, we can go ahead and get started. Just wanted to thank everyone for joining today to talk about how you all can sell more policies using automations, for joining us for our webinar today. So my name is Brooke Eaton, and I am an account manager here at Rocket Referrals. I've been with the company for coming up on 2 years now, and I get to split my time between account management and marketing. And I know that all of you are really busy, so really and truly, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join this webinar and learn a little bit more. As we're going through this webinar, if you all have any questions, feel free to go ahead and post those in the Q&A section of the chat, and we'll go ahead and answer as many questions as we can there at the end of the presentation. So just as you think of them, post them in there. And I am joined today by two agents that I am lucky enough to work with, Salar Baktash, the principal of Let's Insure, and
Pleasure
Jim
is all
Weber.
mine.
Oh, thanks, Salar. And then Jim Weber, the president of Weber Insurance Corporation. So I'll let each of them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit more about their agency. Salar, if you'd like to start.
Well, of course, my first name is Salar, last name Baktash. I've been with Rocket Referral for almost 3 years now. I had my agency for the last 17 years in PNC and health and life, and always been trying to grow my business with the least amount of interaction and keeping my clients happy. We've been lucky enough to have 5-star reviews on Yelp and Google, and excited to use this platform.
Awesome. And then Jim, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself too.
My name is Jim Weber. I actually joined a family agency about 20 years ago. We were started in 1948 as a real estate office that then did mortgages, insurance, all that stuff. And the only thing we still do now is the exciting world of insurance. Our wheelhouse is more personal lines, your home, your auto, umbrella. We dabble a little bit in commercial, but if there's anything that would be health or disability related, I'd send that back to Salar.
Love it. Um, awesome. And so as Jim and Salar mentioned, they're both using Rocket Referrals, and they're using a lot of our automations that we have within Rocket Referrals. And so they're here to kind of share their experiences and what's helped them grow as an agency.
Definitely.
Awesome. So for anyone who's joining who's maybe new, not as familiar with Rocket Referrals, Rocket Referrals, we're an insurance communication platform, and we're made specifically for independent insurance agents. We've been around since 2013, and our goal is to help build better relationships with your customers through automations and really help improve your retention. We can also help with converting prospects and helping you cross-sell more policies as well. And we do this over a wide variety of channels. This includes web chat, texting, emails, handwritten cards. We really try to keep in touch with your clients in a way that they prefer. And one of our agents' favorite features of Rocket Referrals is the automated aspect of it. Turns out insurance agents are really, really busy, so we just want to take some of that work off your plate and help you grow your agency. So what do we mean when we say automations? We are talking about kind of three things here within Rocket Referrals. We have our built-in standard suite of communications that are included with most all Rocket Referrals accounts. And all of our automations are going to go out to each customer at the time that's best for that customer, or other contacts as well, you know, prospects, prior customers, etc. So the built-in standard communications, these are relationship building communications, handwritten cards, emails, texts as well. We also have ready to go cross-sell campaigns. And we also have something we call Rocket Connect. If you're an existing customer, you're probably familiar with it, but this is just a touch point we can use to stay in touch with your customers if they haven't been communicated with in a while. So we'll start with the built-in standard communications. We've got a preview here on this screen. So kind of some of those things that those entail is our welcome suite, a series of handwritten cards, as well as a welcome email. We also have some emails designed to collect feedback from your customers, identify any retention risks, as well as your promoters who might be willing to leave feedback
Mhm.
that you can share publicly on websites, on your website or on Facebook. And we can also identify the customers that we'd like to have them leave a positive review for your agency. We also have a few handwritten cards to keep in touch with clients throughout the year, build better relationships, things like birthday cards, thank you cards for anyone who refers new business to you. And there are gift card options that can be added to those handwritten cards too. And all of these we can also do texting with a lot of these communications. So our first question for our two lovely panelists is, which built-in automations do you use? You're both using quite a few, and we're going to preview those for you. So Jim, we'll go ahead and start with you. What sort of automations are you using, and which ones have you really liked best?
So we were instituting us the welcome email, the sort of the thank you is one where we have to approve, where they mail something. Also, we were able to sort of design something that was more for what our agency was looking for, and that would be an automation that might go out when someone first is entered into our system that they're buying a house in 60 days. It's sort of a trickle email effect where it'll try to get them before they settle, and then it switches from there after they settle the home. We know you've purchased it, so it's pretty much like a set it and forget it. Once you have the bones of it set, you go ahead and you go in and tweak it from time to time. And then, of course, I try to go in and put my personal touch on it. And Brooke kindly just said, well, sometimes even like this. So we're finding that the raw sort of content that comes from Rocket Referrals is much better than an insurance agent trying to dress it up. So, I've found very good success with the automated systems. And again, it really comes back to the touch points. Even though someone might not be ready to buy at that point, at least you're just putting them in there. Hey, we're still available. And they might not call for 3-4 months, but you're going to get a phone call you wouldn't have gotten without having that system in place.
Awesome. And then Salar, what about you? Which ones have been your favorites?
I pretty much use everything, every product that Rocket Referral has been offering as a matter of these touch points I've been utilizing. And my top favorites are the review requests, because that used to be very time consuming and required a lot of focus for me. And as Jim mentioned, that the perfect thing about it, you enable it and you walk away and you let it to run for you. It's completely like having a marketing manager on your payroll at your office. And I've been taking advantage of the birthday cards, which has been very popular by my clients, the win backs, the survey request, and pretty much every single item that I can take advantage of.
Yeah, that's great. And that, Solar, you brought it, I think you both brought it up. Was going to ask you which ones you have automated and how that was going. Solar, were you nervous to automate, and how has it been going since?
Initially, yes, because based on my prior experience, a lot of marketing campaigns, especially the automated ones that I have used in the past, they required quite a bit of attention and interaction. I give you an example. So when I utilize a newsletter system from another platform with another company, I noticed that many of clients' names weren't inverted to the newsletters. So it was saying, "Dear bracket, client's name bracket." So imagine if your client receives that. This is very embarrassing. And I got few complaints about it. Same thing with the birthday cards. It would put last name of the clients instead of the first name of the client, and so many like mishaps like this. With Rocket Referral, I'm using it for the last 3 years with help of Brooke. I never had one single incident that someone brings it to my attention. Hey, your newsletter or your birthday card or your campaign wasn't professional, or you used this wrong salutation, or any of these items. I think the beauty of Rocket Referral is combining the automation and digital world with a perfect supervision of someone looking after all these campaigns.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that we haven't had any mishaps or anything like that. I can
Not
imagine
whatsoever.
that would be really embarrassing to have something that said like, dear first name, and you're like, I do have a first name, but it's not first name.
And it's not in a bracket.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jim, what about you? Are you nervous to automate? And what sorts of things do you have automated?
Okay,
Or
so yeah, I would say when we first sat down to do this, I almost had everything on manual approve. And then each week when I meet with Brooke, we'd have a slew of things that we just go in and manually approve. So we changed it to automatic approve. Some of the ones I automatic approved was upcoming renewals, where it might just say, hey, your renewals come up, have any questions? There's no need for me to go in there and approve it because they're going to get renewed either way. The only ones that we really held back where they had to be approved is if we were doing anything that had a gift involved, meaning a gift card. So one of the things that we really like is for some of our business professionals that might refer someone to us, it's nice at the end of the month, you can send them a thank you card. They all look handwritten, not my handwriting, thank God. And they come with a nice little gift card. And it's a nice way to say thank you to the person for thinking of you. And also it just, again, put your name back in front of them. So next month, when you got a realtor mortgage person going out there that's trying to get those accounts, they're thinking of you for the insurance. So yeah, the automation, just having it automated is great. Again, the only one I do manually approve is when there's any kind of gift cards involved, because you can't really pull them back after you send them out.
yeah. Yeah. And so Jim, what sort of feedback, thank you cards are one of our agents' favorite features. And with you sending out that gift card as well, what sort of feedback have you gotten from those?
The thank you cards, I don't know if I really get an immediate response where someone says that, because a lot of it might be with our scope of what we do. It's new home buyers. And, last thing they're going to do is pick up the car and say, hey, Mr. Insurance Agent, thanks for sending me this thank you card. I'm unpacking all these boxes. But what it does do is that thank you card will end up at their house on their fire mantle. And then as everyone comes over to see that new house, oh, well, your insurance agent mails you something. So it's really a unique way of marketing that I thought was dead until I started talking to Rocket Referrals. Because when I get the mail from my house, I stand in front of a recycling bin, boom, 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 boom. But with the stuff that's coming from Rocket Referral, it has substance to it. It's coming from the agency, and it's not like a Geico little character on there. It actually has some meaning to it. So we do find that it's been very good for us. The same as we've also did some holiday stuff. We picked Thanksgiving because it was sort of hits across all denominations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely like that there's on our handwritten cards on the envelope, it's got a stamp on the back of it. It's a handwritten card. So Jim, I too am one of those people who kind of recycles a lot of mail, but as long as I see that it's like handwriting on it,
There's
I'm
effort
going to
to
open
it.
it. Yeah, exactly. And then Salar, you're sending out thank you cards as well. How has that been going for you?
One thing to thank you and Rocket Referral for was the quality of the material was used. That actually, because of course I'm a client of my own insurance office as well, so I get these thank you cards on a monthly basis, and sometimes clients' thank you cards gets returned back to the office, so I get the chance to look at them and inspect them. Number one is the quality of the paper was sent out. Is all hammered paper. It's not a simple or cheap paper. And also the quality of the robotic handwriting on it is undistinguishable, and something has been printed or is actually handwritten. And the beauty of it that you can add your picture, your signature, or your company logo in there as well is beautiful. It's like the quality of the envelope, the presentation is like a Nordstrom kind of handling that you expect from a marketing company. So my expectation was met, and actually exceeded my expectation of getting something very personalized in the mail.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So just to give a little bit of background on this next question, one of our automations is the Net Promoter Score survey. And if you aren't familiar with it, you've probably actually seen it before. It's that question that asks, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend our agency to a friend or family member? It's a way for us to identify those retention risks as well as identify anyone who might be willing to leave a review on Google. And so Net Promoter Score, NPS surveys are something that both of you are sending out. And Salar, we can start with you on this one. What sort of response have you gotten? What sort of benefits have you seen from sending out that Net Promoter Score survey?
I think if I need to summarize the importance of this campaign or explain it, it would be checking the temperature of your agency on daily basis. The reason I'm saying checking the temperature is if you bring in new teammates, if you introduce new products or new campaigns, or if you change up doing business, you don't know how your clients are taking it. So the biggest advantage of this is the clients can express their feedbacks or their frustrations or their happiness, which eventually would lead to a referral or moving to another agency. So it's very preventive, I would call it. It's the way that you can understand what are the client's frustration. If you can fix it, or you fundamentally have to change the organizational structure of your entity. For me, in the last, I would say 3 years, I saved minimum of 15 clients. Reason being is when I noticed they were dissatisfied with something within my agency, it could be a staff member or it could be a technology issue or anything else. I personally reached out to them and asked them, first of all, I thank them for taking the time and writing that. And also ask them how we can improve. When your clients see the initiation and your eagerness to fix a problem, first of all, they're not going to go anywhere else because they understand you're a human being and you have an open heart and an open mind about modifying your services in order to cater to those clients. So this is another campaign that I was very impressed with, and I highly recommend it because it can save you a lot of money and increases your retention quite a bit.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing that you've been able to retain 15 more customers just by
Minimum
asking one
15,
question.
that's what I can do, but probably more.
Yeah. And then, Jim, you actually had one of my favorite stories about someone who left you a low score and kind of how you took advantage of that opportunity. Would
Yeah.
you mind sharing that story?
So actually, there's two of them. I just thought of the second one. So the one
Oh,
you're
cool.
referring to, well, when we first sent the surveys out, I'm thinking, what's the point? Somebody that likes you doesn't like you, that's it. And then Brooke said, really, the detractors is where you want to contact them. That's where you can salvage it. And I'm thinking, already pissed, whatever you can do. Well, this lady, we only had a boat policy for her. It was maybe a $300 premium. And I don't know what the survey question was, but her answer to what we didn't ask her was she just started venting that she didn't know why she had to have so many different insurance brokers for her house or car. And she had sort of, everything, spread out. So once we were able to discuss it with her, I ended up turning that one boat policy into 2 homeowners, an umbrella, multiple vehicles, and investment property. So that $300 account went quickly to $5,000. So not only retaining the customer, but also cross-selling. And now that client is really probably 5 times more likely to renew because you're controlling all of the insurance needs that they have. And that also did turn into several more referrals from her. Another one, I think this is the one I was telling Brooke about with the water park. This was a gentleman that he responded to a question that I didn't ask, and he was just going off about how he didn't like a State Farm agent. Well, I didn't know he had State Farm for his auto. We only had one piece of it. So I was talking with him. We got him set up, and I was actually at a water park with my daughter when I got the email. He was ready to bind. So I was able to take over his home, auto, umbrella, all that stuff. And that was all from, sitting 6 feet away from my daughter playing at water park. And, none of that was business I would have had without, Rocket Referral doing this in the background and constantly just contacting me. Even, while I was at a meeting this morning, I came back and I'm getting survey requested. So the survey requests are great. It's a wonderful way to keep your pulse of the agency, how they're reacting. Our survey requests came back where everyone loves everyone else in the office more than me. So we'll have to fix that next time around. But it really is a very good way to communicate with the clients and get feedback and also save them. Because I had a couple survey requests where someone might not be happy with the way a claim was handled. Well, now they're looking at us as the insurance company, not the agency. So there's a good point where we can get involved, say, okay, how do we fix it? Just so you know, we're the agency. So we're an advocate for you. If you have a problem with the carrier, bring it to, I didn't know that. So again, just that communication, a little bit more education for the consumer, knowing that there's a difference between the insurance carrier, which could be Travelers, Progressive, versus the agency, which is Weber, the people with hearts that actually go and do something for you. So I did find that the net promoter scores, if you work that correctly, you really will see some good results.
Awesome.
Certainly.
Yes, those stories are so cool. And kind of as I mentioned before, with the people who leave a higher score, we can follow up with those people and ask them if they'll leave a review on Google. And something that Rocket Referrals does is we try to collect reviews in line with Google's algorithm to help improve your SEO, your Google ranking, so that when someone is searching for insurance near them or insurance in your area, that you'll be the top result or one of the top results that pops up. So you all both have started using the review requests, and kind of since the beginning we've had those set up, and so we have the raw numbers up here. But can each of you speak a little bit more about how your Google ranking has improved since sending out those automated review requests? And Jim, we can start with you.
Okay. Well, obviously, you guys kept track of it, so you could see the rankings improved very much. But it's something where I was guilty of not even asking for Google reviews. Anytime someone's happy, you're more get involved when someone's upset because you want to fix the problem. But when someone's happy, that's really where they should be, celebrating how great the service was. And again, I keep saying, set it and forget it. It's just the Rocket Referrals. You put it in the background there, and they're doing that promotion for you. So you can spend your time, getting the insurance set up, and then Rocket Referrals goes and gets the reviews for you. And we've had a lot of people that actually have gone on because they've been asked to. It's not that they didn't want to give you a good review. It's just if you didn't ask, you don't get it. So we were guilty of not asking that question. And, I guess we've been with you guys a little over a year now, and it's been, nothing but a positive outcome for us.
Awesome. And then Salar, what about you?
Glad you asked that question. I used to spend between $300 to $800 a month for SEO services. And when I started Rocket Referral, it was only a couple of months away from spending that amount of money on SEO services. In the past 3 years, I haven't spent $1 other than what I'm spending with Rocket Referral. As you may see, my ranking for home insurance has moved from the 15th spot to number 1 in my geographic locations, which is very broad in San Diego metropolitan. And it's a population of close to 4 million people. You can imagine, by being the number 1 and not spending $1 on it, how much business I'm gaining. And the way that Rocket Referral asks and posts the reviews on the service is very smart. So it would filter the people that they're dissatisfied before they go leave a bad review. So it's something that if I had to hire someone to do it on my own, I had to spend a lot of money and deal with the payroll, training, and all this stuff. Or personally, I had to ask every single client, leave us a review, which the result could be bad or not as efficient. My personal experience with this was very easy, completely automated, very systematic, with a really high rate of return.
Awesome. Yes, well, it's really great to see that both of you pop up as the number one number one for insurance in your area. That's definitely our goal, is to get all of our agencies in those top results for Google ranking. So now we'll kind of move into the second part of our webinar today, which is talking about ready to go cross-sell campaigns. So a little more than just building the better relationships, trying to retain more customers. We want to grow your agencies, help you convert more prospects and cross-sell more policies. We've got cross-selling campaigns for personal and commercial lines. One of our most popular automations is renewal check-in emails to allow them a chance to review their coverage. We can also do life insurance, Medicare, health, and we have prospect campaigns as well as win-back campaigns for prior customers available too. And these span text, emails, and handwritten cards. And if there's ever anything that you want but we don't have, no problem. We can build anything from scratch as long as we have the data pulling in from your agency management system. We can go ahead and build that campaign with you, and we work with most agency management systems. So just to jumping in here, Jim, you, as you mentioned, you're mostly a personal lines agency and you use our personal lines cross-sell campaigns. What sort of feedback have you gotten from those?
We've gotten a fair amount of feedback. The most frustrating feedback is when someone says, I didn't know you sold auto insurance. So we're failing as an agency up front, not letting them know that. But with my agency dynamic, the way we're designed, we work a lot with real estate offices and mortgage offices. So our lead-in, which is not like other agencies, we start with the home and then we try to cross-sell the auto. So we did a lot of cross-sell campaigns trying to we have home, get the auto. One thing I just try to do is, as the agency, I try to push umbrella insurance because you can't control the umbrella without controlling the auto and home. So rather than spending money on home and auto where everyone's putting their money, I push it on the umbrella because that just opens up a conversation. Like 30% of the people even carry umbrella insurance. So a lot of times it's something they don't know to go. But yeah, so the cross-sell campaigns are good because it shows you what other types of products you have. And the ones that we didn't use are stuff that's outside of what we write, which would be the healthcare stuff like that. But as far as your property and your automobile stuff like that, it's been very good for us.
Good. And then you also do a renewal check-in email for customers who have a certain carrier. Can you speak a little bit more about why you set it up that way and how it's been going?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the Philadelphia contribution ship by name because of the rate increases, but it's one of the carriers that has our largest book of business. They have just been taking a lot of rate across the board. Because of the size of the book, it's almost impossible for us to be proactive and get in front of them to say, hey, if there's anything with a rate increase or your coverage concerns, let us know. As long as we have an email address that's valid, we're able to use the Rocket Referrals for that. So we're able to communicate to everybody, the few people that might see a rate increase, but it's not, an obnoxious amount, they'll push along. The other ones see it and they see an email from me. They don't just see a new rate increase or saying, hey, we're here, contact us. And that's been very helpful as far as keeping people from, even if they stay where they were, but just open up that dialogue to discuss about, where rates are, where they're expecting to go and different coverages. And really, I think the goal here is anything that's going to get you to communicate with your client more than just when they're buying or leaving you is an advantage. And that's really the tool that Rocket Referral excels at.
Awesome. And then, Salar, you use both personal and commercial lines cross-sells. How have those been going for you?
Really well, actually. I think everyone who reads How to Run Your Agency books, doesn't matter who wrote them, cross-selling is one of probably top 3 items that these authors recommend to do. So the more policies per clients you have, it would increases your retention and also the profitability. And also the clients feel more secure about staying with your agency when you answer all the questions. And also you take that chance from a competition when the client has one policy with them, that they may take the other policies that they have with your agency. So cross-selling has been recommended by every insurance advisor, and how to take advantage of it takes quite a bit of traction and report building and relationship with your clients to make sure you're taking advantage of their other insurance policies or providing the other insurance policies to them when they need it. Having an automated system was very helpful for me, especially for the personal accounts. As you may know, California earthquake is the most mysterious peril in the insurance industry, and everyone is scared of it, but majority of people don't know if flood and earthquake is included in their home policies, which utilizing this Crosssell campaign helped us to bring that message to the clients. And because of it, we wrote about 300 earthquake policies in the last 3 years. Also for the commercial accounts, I have a lot of clients that they have the minimum general liability that their landlord required. But because of the Crosssell campaign, we were able to sell them the workers' compensation, EPLI, and auto, umbrella, all these policies that they didn't even know existed for their businesses. So it's very educational and also very profitable for our agency as well.
Yeah, those are great numbers and just really amazing to hear.
Thank you.
And then Salar, you actually also do some cross-selling via text messaging because you have
Right.
the text messaging feature.
Mhm.
What sort of feedback have you gotten from those?
The cool thing about the text messaging before I start how it helped me is you always get a copy of it in your email. So it doesn't matter if you check your Rocket Referral portal or the conversation portal, which is on your phone or see, you always get a reminder and just monitor it to see when the client replies back to number one item that I really texting platform. And it's also an automated basis. I don't need to do anything. I have just check marked everything to make sure that these text messages get sent out. One thing working with the millennium, text messaging is their preferred method of communication. I understand that a lot of people disagree with it, and many people like me are more email focused, and the older generation than me is more phone based. But text messaging has been cutting edge, very efficient, and also very futuristic mode of communication for an insurance agency to offer to their clients. Given the items that I said, the client satisfaction of being able to send text message to us and also getting their marketing items via text message has been really good. The disadvantage that I previously experienced about text messaging is you get caught up and you forget about replying to people. That happens to me on the personal level and also happens to me at the business level, because we get text messages, we communicate text messages for clients' policies. We even send their policies through text messages as well. The good thing about Rocket Referrals text platform was the emailing and also having another platform as a backup that you can always go check what text messages were sent, what was the client's response, how long has it been, and all these items. So it's very manageable and it's very easy to use and adds another mode of communication with the clients.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your experience with
My
text
pleasure.
messaging, Solar. Um, so we'd also kind of like to talk about the prospect campaign, which both of you are using. And then Solar, you're using not only the prospect campaign, but the win back campaign for prior customers as
Mhm.
well. So if you wouldn't mind, just share some of the feedback, some of the responses you've gotten from those.
Not at all. The prospecting campaign is really good because it sends marketing very gentle, like a gentle reminders or gentle marketing messages to the leads that you haven't closed in the past. Another great avenue of this is the clients who left our agency. We always make sure that clients leave us in good terms. So they're not angry with us. They're not going to go leave a bad feedback on Google or Yelp. But at the same time, we really want them back because they're a source of money and also tractions for other insurance policies and cross-selling campaigns and referrals. So we want to bring those clients who left our agency. So I'm utilizing the prospecting campaigns to win back the clients who have left our agency. And on average, I would say between 1 to 3% of people that we have lost, they will return to our agency within a year or two. This is another one that has been helpful to me. I get free money out of it with no additional cost to me.
Awesome. And then, Jim, you have built kind of a 5-part prospect campaign for newly quoted prospects. Can you speak a little bit more about that campaign that we've built?
Yes, I'd say you built it, but with this again, with the dynamic of our agency, we typically get a notice in that someone's buying a house, whether it's from a realtor or for the person themselves. We do the quote, and insurance is the least sexy part of buying a piece of real estate, so it always gets pushed to the back. You're always concentrating more on the home inspection, the mortgage which you're locking in for 30 years. You can always change insurance carriers. So with us, using the email campaign where it would do, I call it a trickle email, where it's sort of staying in front of them but not obnoxious, has been very good, because we might have somebody that takes that third email from them and say, oh, I do have to get the insurance in place, and now they start moving. And again, that was something which is really neat. We were able to sort of customize that with Brooke and put something together that really fit the agency. So we took sort of the bones of what Rocket Referral had. I tried not to mess it up too much. We just put something together where it stays in front of them. We did that as well as after the fact. And I think we've done some stuff with the win back and things like that. But I was very impressed when we sat down. I was able to sort of break out and do a customized campaign where there's 5 touch points before they buy a house. And it's great because it's one of those things, you sit down, you do the quote, and then the marketing where it's following up is on the back end. And then you might have to pick a phone up here or there. But just the emailing campaigns are just fantastic.
Awesome. So kind of right along with those custom campaigns, as I mentioned at the beginning, we can build any campaign that you want. If we don't already have something pre-written, we can build things from scratch, just as long as we have that data coming in from your management system. And Jim and Salar both have their own custom campaigns that they've built from scratch. You just heard about one of Jim's. And then Salar, could you talk a little bit more about the client center email and sometimes text that you send out for your clients?
We utilizes the campaign quite a bit to send documents, because you can attach a PDF or JPEG printout or screenshot of anything. It can be the insurance ID card, it can be a new application, anything. You can just attach it and send it to the clients. Again, it's very efficient, it's very easy, and my client love it. So I don't know why wouldn't I use it.
Yeah, exactly. So what Salar is talking about is he's got that like client center link where they can just log in and download any of those PDFs that they need from just that one login screen. And it's so convenient. I think all of us are insurance customers as well. And so it's just a really nice feature that you offer to your customers. And then
Correct.
Jim,
So basically, I'm so sorry. I
oh
didn't
no,
mean to interrupt.
go ahead.
What I was trying to add is I can easily send a link via text message or email to my clients, letting them know that their paperwork is at their fingertips. So anytime that they need to access their insurance ID card before a big trip, or if they want to rent a car, they can just easily follow that link and get all their insurance paperwork off our agency management system. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to clarify, but it's just a really nice feature there. And then Jim, we have another custom campaign that we kind of built together that I wanted to give a little background info on first. But when clients leave a 9 or 10 survey score or any survey score, they have the option to leave feedback. But if they've left a 9 or a 10 and they've left that written feedback, we consider that a testimonial. And we ask if it's okay for us to share that on social media or on your website. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but Facebook has been a traditionally kind of hard platform to get more users to interact with, more of your customers to interact with. So Jim had a creative idea here for an automation, and I'd love if you shared a little more about that, Jim.
Yes, anyone not in Pennsylvania can listen to this. What we did is after they would leave a testimony or a campaign and we would post it up to Facebook, there would be some type of communication going back to them. We loved your testimonial so much, we put it on Facebook, check it out. Idea there is, people just sort of like to see that, they're being somewhere on social media. So they might go look at it and just see what the reply was. I'm sure this doesn't happen. I'm sure they send it to all their family and friends. Look at my post. But no, the idea is really just to keep them engaged and see that not only was their response reviewed, we then even took the action to go post it and show it to other people. And I think that really makes them feel like their voice has been heard. And it really just builds some more traction. I'm noticing more people responding to it. I don't know if it's because of, they're seeing it there, or we're just starting to get more and more out. But that's been great, because I'm still like on the Facebook. I'm past MySpace. I'm on Facebook, but not on LinkedIn. So I'm a little bit behind the times. So.
Yeah, I can't say we have any custom MySpace campaigns. Awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing about the custom campaigns. I think that's helpful for people to generate some more ideas about what might work for their agency. So kind of our final section here before we open it up for questions is talking about how do you stay in touch with clients throughout the year when they haven't been communicated with in a while. And so Rocket Connect is one of our tools within Rocket Referrals that will automatically help you stay in touch with those clients by sending them content they'll love, such as articles, videos, podcasts, when it's been a little bit of time since you last spoke with them. Um, and so both of you use Rocket Connect, and we kind of built this in lieu of a newsletter just because we noticed that even though newsletters are chock full of good content, there weren't a lot of responses coming back from the newsletters because it was a lot of information. So Jim, what sort of feedback have you gotten from Rocket Connect, and what do you think of using it instead of a newsletter?
I do like this Rocket Connect better than the newsletters. And again, this is one where I thought because I sell insurance, all my newsletters should be insurance based.
Sorry, I had a network problem. I got disconnected for a second. I apologize. Looks like
You're all good.
My speech. So we're just talking about the Rocket Connect.
it's the Russians. Russians are hacking us.
So for the Rocket Connect, I was under the impression before really getting involved with this, people want to hear from insurance stuff from insurance agents. Brooke sort of said, it's really just the contact. The biggest one that we've had a response on, which is listed here, is how to detoxify your home. I don't know if it was because of COVID that helped push this one along, but people found that more interesting than finding out I sell pet insurance or we can do landlord insurance. So, just again, that touch point doesn't always have to be, hey, I'm here to sell your insurance. Just, hey, I'm here. This is how you clean your house type of thing. It just keeps your name in front of them. So it's a very nice way to not to get in front of your customers without feeling like you're shoving sales down their face.
Yes, definitely. And then Salar, what do you think of using Rocket Connect kind of in lieu of a newsletter?
As Jim mentioned, the number one item for the general population to follow you is not to constantly try to sell them something. In my opinion, at least 3 out of 4, you should provide free information. And on the 4th time, when you ask for sales or when you market some product to them, people would actually read or listen to you. Based on my prior experience, if you try to keep push about your marketing campaigns or your products or insurance in general, people would phase out or unsubscribe you. The beauty of the newsletter items that Rocket Referral has provided to me, they weren't about insurance, actually. The beauty of it was about life, how to do gardening, or what's the right season to trim your trees, or how you should prevent from getting an accident when you drive on the snow, or things like that actually people replied back and told me how impressive those articles were, how useful they were, or how many times they have forwarded to their friends and families. By utilizing those items, you can ensure the clients that you always look after for them, that you care for them. And it's not about just those dollar signs and quotas or insurance products that you want to keep pushing to sell. And so this provides credibility, that this provides trust with your clients, and also gives you the opportunity when you reach out to them to sell them something, they actually open your email, or they would listen to your message, or they want to talk to you because they're on the mode that always I'm getting something positive by opening these messages or listening to these messages. So again, going back to how useful their newsletter and their content was, is definitely 10 out of 10. And another advantage of it is if you come up with a new product or a new article, or you come up and you write actually an article, which I've done in the past, you can use that as a newsletter and send it to your clients on the yearly basis, on the monthly basis, or however you want it to be.
Awesome. Very cool. And then we've just got one more question for you. Oh, and actually, I did want to mention one more thing about Rocket Connect. So if you're new to Rocket Referrals or haven't checked out Rocket Connect yet, we have a whole library of articles for you to pick and choose from, or you can add in your own content as you are reading them. So that slide had, some of the content that Jim and Salar are using. And then we can take any individual article or video, etc., and we can send that article to a specific segment of your book of business. So, for example, if you have an article about how business owners can increase employee productivity, we can definitely set that up to only go out to your commercial clients.
Correct.
So one last question before we open it up to the panel for question, or to the audience for questions. I did just want to quickly check in with you and see how much time each of you are spending on Rocket Connect or Rocket Referrals each week. Salar, we'll go ahead and start with you.
It's hard to answer your question is because on weekly basis, my answer is zero, like nothing. If you ask me on yearly basis, we have our once in a month or every other month meetings, which based on my preference, which probably is about like half an hour per month or every other month. And other than that, is just reading the text messages that my clients write back to me or getting a reply from those newsletters that clients get interested to take an advantage of a product. So put it in a nutshell, almost nothing. Definitely not on the weekly basis, but on annual basis, close to nothing.
Yeah. Well, that is good to hear. That is kind of the point of Rocket Referrals, is that we can make your lives easier since insurance agents
Definitely.
are busy. And then, Jim, what about you? How much time per week do you spend on Rocket Referrals?
So when I got set up with Rocket Referral, it was through a vendor that we use, and you could get sort of the Rocket Referral base program. I opted to get something where I had the support of Brooke, where we can meet whenever we need to discuss it. Did that for two reasons. I know myself, and without having a meeting set, I am not going to get it done. It'll just go for the next week. So I'd say for the first year, I was doing, I think we were doing once a week when we could, Brooke, for maybe a half hour or so. And again, that was a lot of just me getting acclimated to it. The amount of time that really needed to be dedicated to it, once I stepped aside and had someone else in my office do it, I think Brooke and her have things done in maybe 10 minutes, where I'd be driving Brooke nuts for about an hour. What did you say to do? So it's really the amount of time that you put into it's minimal. And it's really if you want to change it. So we sat down, and when we did those campaigns, that was probably the most time. And a lot of it was we'd sit, we'd talk. You would take my crazy ideas, come back and say, is this what you were trying to say? Yes, no, and we'd implement it. So I'd say once you have the structure set up, you could probably look to put, maybe in 2 hours a month into it, because it's just maintenance at that point. You're not creating it; it's already created. And it's all about if you want to change it. Like, so I'm going to be doing a change where we're going to be looking to solicit cyber insurance on homeowners, because I found out it covers cyberbullying, and teenage kids are all jerks, and they'll bully each other. So the amount of time really is minimal. It's once you set up the structure of it and then just maintaining it. So I'm very happy that I went with this. Wish I would have done it sooner.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. So if you have any questions that you haven't posted yet, I know we're running a little short on time, but feel free to still post your questions, and we're gonna answer some of them. And if you don't get to your questions, feel free to reach out to your account manager. If you are a Rocket Referrals customer, or you'll be able to schedule a demo with us, and that's been posted in the chat as well.